kids, Puppet Steve here, and today we're going to be looking at the Bendy and the Ink Machine articulated figures one more time because last time we missed a few things. So now we're going to take a closer look. Alright, so here we have the four awesome looking figures from the PhatMojo, Bendy, and the Ink Machine line. And all these guys look great together. But over the last couple of months, you kids have left some great comments in the comment section of that video. And you've noticed things about these figures, and I've noticed things about these figures that I didn't point out last time. So we're going to do that in this video. Alright, so we got the super cool figures of Bendy, we got good old Boris, we got the Ink Demon, or Ink Bendy, whatever you want to call him, and last but not least, we got the Jump Scare Alice figure. Ha, cool. Now this is a pretty cool lineup of figures, and of course we're all waiting for Series 2 to come out, which hopefully it'll come out this fall and next year. But there's a couple things about this series that I want to take a closer look at. So first up, let's take a closer look at the good old figure of Bendy. Oh yeah! Now this is a pretty solid looking figure. In fact, if we take this figure of Bendy and compare this to the pop figure of Bendy and the plush, as well as the minifigure, well, I think this is the best looking Bendy out of all of them. But even though this Bendy is the coolest looking one of them all, there's only one drawback, and that's, well, the joints are too loose. Yep, if I just sit this figure right here, he falls over. Yep, the joints are just way too loose. Aw man, he falls over way too easy. Ah, poop. Let's hope starting in Series 2, they can make these joints just a little bit tighter so they don't keep falling over. Aw man, because if they were just a little bit tighter, well, this would make for one perfect figure. Alright, the second figure we have here is good old Boris, and well, there's nothing bad I can say about this figure, because, well, it's top notch. And well, the joints could be a little bit tighter, but it's not as bad as the Bendy figure, so, yep, this one I don't have any complaints with. And pretty much the same thing with the Ink Bendy. I mean, the details on this guy looks amazing. I just love how they made the ink just look like it's oozing off his face. Oh, it's perfect. And the joints are nice and tight. Gotta love that. In fact, the only thing I'd probably critique are the legs, because if you put them on the table and shake it, well, I guess they both fell down, but the Ink Demon usually falls down before Boris. And, man, I just wish his feet were a little bit flatter so he'd stay there. Alright, the last figure I want to critique is good old Alice Angel. First of all, well, she doesn't stand on her own. Nope, we gotta get Putty, put her on her feet to make her stand. So it would have been nice if this figure came with a base. Plus the joints are really loose too, like with the Bendy figure. So I hope with Series 2 they correct that problem. And of course if we want to get really nitpicky with this figure, well, I was hoping with Series 1 we'd get the regular Alice Angel instead of the Jump Scare Alice Angel. I think it would have made more sense. And if you ask me, I think the sculpt could have been a little bit better, but that's just me. Now the last thing I want to point out here is if we compare this figure to the prototype version of Alice Angel, we see that she looks totally different from the version that was actually released. Aw man, this is the Alice Angel figure I want because there's a lot more detail on her. We can see it in the face, and I also like how the dress is a little bit more gray in color than black. And that gray just adds an extra dimension to this figure that looks great. Unfortunately, when we got the actual figure that's only black and white in color, aw man, it looks like it's missing something. Now, I'm not saying this is a bad figure because, well, it's super cool to have a jump scare figure of Alice Angel, even though we haven't got one yet with the minifigures or the Funko Pop figures yet. Alright kids, well there's my follow-up review of these really cool Series 1 action figures. And if you haven't been able to find them yet, well, I keep seeing them at Walmart, so make sure you check there in order to complete your collection.